Hey guys, I'm here with my friend Carmen from the Joy FM, and I wanted to talk to you about something I'm really passionate about, and I know that Carmen is as well, and that is Team Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that you would talk a little bit about what Team Freedom is and why it's so important for the Joy FM to be involved.
I got your email, I guess it was a month or so ago, and I was so excited. Whenever I see someone get excited about Team Freedom, I get excited because I am very excited about Team Freedom. And Team Freedom was birthed, 7 years ago, very organically. And like you, I'm sure, back then, I had heard of the phrase, and that's probably a terrible way to describe it, but I'd heard of human trafficking, but I really didn't know what that was. And my friend, Natalie Grant, she is the one who has educated me and introduced me to this horrible atrocity that I never knew existed. There's actually more slaves in the world today than ever in the history of the world. But the reason it's so important to me, it happened very organically. It was 7 years ago, and I'm going to give away how old I am right now. But I was, for my 40th birthday, I was planning to run my very first half marathon on my 40th birthday. That passed, I did it, I survived. It's the middle of summertime, it's so hot. I'm trying to motivate myself to get back out and run. And this is back when Twitter, I guess we're more Instagram people now, but this is back when Twitter, there wasn't an Instagram, the gram. I tweeted one day and I said, need to register for the Disney Princess Half Marathon again and get out there and run, get myself back out there. Natalie Grant tweeted me back and she goes, love the princess part, hate the running part. And that just opened up a dialogue between the two of us. Natalie had founded an organization that helped bring awareness and was fighting to free slaves. And that opened a dialogue between the two of us, and that's how Team Freedom was birthed, between that Twitter exchange between Natalie and I. And that's when she told me about her trip that she'd taken to India. And how she's literally walking down the street in Mumbai with her husband, and she looks up and she sees a young girl, probably 7, 8 years old, and she's literally, there's bars, and this little girl she's behind the bars. And Natalie said, all I remember is just the big brown eyes. And she looked at the person that she was with, and they said that they have her there. Yes, she's behind the bars, and that they were trying to break her spirit so they were prepping her to become a human slave. And that's so, I say that so quick because when we do, videos like this and talk about it, even when I'm on the air, we have such a short amount of time to be able to communicate, so it rolls off your tongue as if that just happens every day. But think about that. She's walking down the street in India. She looks up and she sees a young girl behind bars that's being groomed. So that when Natalie got back, that's when she started doing the research on human trafficking and started the organization. Team Freedom was birthed, and we came up for the tagline, running for those. And by the way, I hate running. So that tells you how passionate I am about it. But that's when we came up with the line, running for those not free to run yet.
I've gotten a heightened awareness of human trafficking just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever, there's a lot of humanitarian crises that are out there, but for whatever reason, this one pulls on my heart more than anything ever. And I think it's because it starts at such a young age.
Yeah.
These are children that we're dealing with, and it's hard for me to think that they're not given that childhood life that you and I were given.
Innocence was taken at such a young age.
It is, and I know that you said we talk about it as if we're able to talk about it so easily, but it's not that easy. It's very difficult, and so over the last few years, as I've tried to figure out how can we get involved, I say we, my wife and I, get involved. We've kind of figured out our own avenues, but you started. I know you took a break. The Joy FM took a break from doing Team Freedom, and a couple months ago, I heard you talk about it again, and immediately I felt like I needed to be part of it somehow, and I didn't know what yet because, as you mentioned, I hate running too.
Yes.
I'm not a runner.
No.
And so I was trying to figure it out, but before, I just want to hear kind of your thoughts on why this cause from a station standpoint, from the Joy FM standpoint, because it's not just you. Everybody's really embraced it. I mean, you're out there running, but
I don't know if I can answer. And you're right. It's the whole staff. It's the whole staff. There's something that pulls us to this, and we do support a lot of causes, or a lot of things. We champion a lot of things, but there's just something about this that has gripped our hearts. I mean, I was actually straightening my hair a little bit earlier to get ready for this video, and Donna, who is in our donor relations department, she goes, I got out and ran 2 miles this morning, because she's running with Team Freedom. Most of the staff is running with Team Freedom, so I don't know if I can answer why, other than just the move of the Lord has placed this on our heart, and that kind of tells you that there's confirmation and affirmation in that when we're all feeling it. And I think about William Wilberforce, and I'm not a history person. I did not know who William Wilberforce was before I studied and educated myself on human trafficking, but he basically, and I won't get the quote exactly right, but he basically said, once you know, you can't not know. And so I think, like you and your wife, once you educate yourself on how dark, I mean, Chris, this is the darkest of the dark. I mean, that people can take children. And we usually, when you talk about human trafficking, you're talking about sex slaves. But there's work labor. But when you can take children, I don't know, I just think that really, I don't think there's anything else that shows the depravity of human. That's the darkest part of humankind. I mean, human people, the human heart, when you can do that to a child. So I'm probably not answering the question very well, but there is a unity and a coming together where we're all on this journey together, and we're very unified in Team Freedom. Like, everyone's on board, and I think it's the Lord at the center of that.
There's a lot of people, I think, that are embracing it. You see it every day. You have a bunch of people running in Team Freedom. I found out when I started, I made an announcement to some of my family members, like, I'm going to do this. And my mother-in-law says, I'm already signed up. I'm doing it too.
Oh my goodness, that is so great.
And she's doing it with her friend. And so they're really excited about it. And I know I talked to them this week, and they were working on their fundraising page and those types of things. So moving forward, so right now, there has to be ways for us, for others to get involved. For me, I decided I'm going to run, which
I love it.
I'm not a runner.
High five on that.
I'm not a runner, but
Neither am I.
I'm going to do the 8K on Sunday.
That's what I'm doing.
And I'm excited about having the opportunity. I've already started training, and we'll see how that ends up. How can people get involved? Maybe they can run, or maybe they can donate. Everybody that's running has to raise some money, and so they can go and maybe find a friend or donate.
Yes, I highly recommend having a buddy. You can go to thejoyfm.com. All the information is there on fundraising, joining the team. But if you do decide to join the team, I highly recommend the buddy system, because there's going to be those mornings it's going to be raining and you're not going to want to train. There's going to be those days that it's hot and humid. You're not going to want to get out and train. You're just not going to feel like it, especially with the holidays coming and all the holiday parties. And then there's going to be, people don't necessarily like to fundraise, but I don't know. The thing that I love about Team Freedom is you have to put your money where your mouth is, and you also have to put in the sweat equity. Just this past weekend, I didn't want to get out and run, but when you have that visual image, the image of that young girl or the young boy who's in chains, literal chains and emotional chains, to get out and run a little bit, and to sweat a little bit, and to breathe hard a little bit, or try to catch your breath. I mean, it's nothing compared to what they live day in and day out. But I highly recommend a buddy system, and it's fun to have somebody to do it with. And I think, talking about your mother-in-law, I think to run for something greater than ourselves, and it's just the sum of the parts added together. I don't know, it just makes the whole feel greater. But yes, all the information is at thejoyfm.com. There's actually a video there with me and Natalie Grant. Natalie talks about the money that we've raised in the past, how that has helped build a rehabilitation home in Cambodia. There's girls who have been rescued, and because of Team Freedom raising the money, they have a place to go to where they can.
That's amazing.
Where they can get the counseling that they need and the life skills. So anyway, I could talk about Team Freedom forever.
Go to thejoyfm.com, learn all about Team Freedom, and decide whether or not you want to run, or you can donate to the many people that are already running. Thank you again.